the geological oddity that is the Negus circuit is the host of the 8th round of the 2019B NASA RallyCross Challenge season. The contingent motor's on, and we wonder if anyone can catch Philip Kraus in the Drivers' Championship. As hello everyone, it's Josh Mertz bringing you the call, as always, for the Automotive Sports Network as we get ready to go for the 8th round of the championship this season. And the question is anyone gonna catch this man, Philip Kraus, who won last week in Lakewood? We headed right down I-25 to Canyon City, and the Canadian is on a roll. A huge points lead coming into the 8th round of the championship, and he can basically lock up the title with a good run today. The format for today's race is quarterfinals, 2 of them, always the normal format, 6 laps, Joker ones, winner transfers, and receives 2 bonus points. Everyone else to the semifinal. 2 semifinals, 4 laps, Joker ones, the winner also transfers. Nothing new here, and you get a bonus point, and the others will go to the LCQ. 3 laps, Joker ones, top 2 advance, and the others will be awarded points. 7th, 8th, and 9th. The final is 8 laps, Joker twice, and there's some other big news in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. It involves this man, Cody Erdman. Because of the contact last week between him and then teammate Josh Mertz, he has defected again from the MRT squad to the Area 52 squad. Running Citroens, we haven't seen the Citroen program in a couple seasons, and Erdman's going to be running some R&D this season. How can we forget about this? The track has been reconfigured slightly. The original plan for the Negus circuit actually was supposed to have a chicane that Dylan Smith just tackled. The jump's been moved forward, the chicane's been created, and no longer is there going to be walls on the Joker merge. So today's race, full of surprises, full of new things, and we're glad that you can join us on the Automotive Sports Network as we get ready for round 8. As quarterfinal 1 about to begin here in Negus. And Philip Kraus, once again, fastest in seeding. Something has clicked in that 19 car, and everyone else can't really figure out what it is. On pole, Philip Kraus, then Chris Wetz, then Cody Erdman, and then Jacob Kraus. Six laps, Joker once, winner transfers. Dylan Livengood is in this race as well, so the 21 pulls up and grids up behind his teammate. And this is going to be interesting for the Privateer Cup. Obviously, Cody Erdman is not running the full championship in that cup, but he's going to take some points away from Noah Carmichael if that happens. Green flag in Canyon City. The start has been reconfigured slightly. It's a very tight run into the first corner. Kraus hits the wall and shoves everyone out wide except for Cody Erdman. So the championship leader not having a good start as Erdman out and away from the rest of the field in the Citroen. Into the chicane, the right, left, left, right, bus stop chicane. A lot like Watkins Glen for the NASCAR boys, but there's walls on every angle. As it was interesting, we had a bunch of billboards and trees and all that fun stuff from the last time that we raced at Negus. And apparently, they had to tear all of that down to get the new development. Not really sure why, but this track is a geological oddity, so that explains why. Kraus got by Livengood as Erdman comes down the front straightaway, and he will lead at the end of the first lap ahead of Chris Wetz. And so far, if you have to judge the Citroen program off of 1 lap, Erdman is on fire. But we know that that doesn't happen. Wetz takes to the jump, the new reprofile jump in the 71. So he's going to lead his teammate. Livengood jumps as well. And Jacob Kraus in the 42 Privateer from Wisconsin will also jump in his Privateer Ford. As Erdman hits the wall in the chicane. And Kraus getting close, and he does the same thing. And the championship leader thought he could capitalize, but no, he cannot. And Wetz pulling away as we begin the 3rd lap of the race here in Canyon City. And the 71, who has had terrible luck this season. Revolution Racing has been off pace. They are third in the Constructors' Championship, behind MRT, behind LMT. And no Joey Bailey here again, as he's had another car problem, but he will not get a provisional because he did not appear the last 2 weeks. So the original Musketeers for Revolution Racing, Living Good and Wets, hold the banner. Erdman Jokers in the 52. Let's look at this rotation from high above. We might catch Erdman on the right-hand side. Wow, Wets actually beat him. I think because Erdman, when he hit the wall in the chicane, that hindered him. And Wets will hold the lead as we come to cross flags here in Canyon City. As Living Good third. The Krauses are battling for fourth. Remember, no relation. I don't think Phil has jokered yet. And I think at this point, he is just trying to teach his friend how to drive this circuit. 3 to go. Erdman drifts it through turn 1. That's not going to help him try and take this lead, as he's already jokered. It's all going to really be down to Kraus, because I don't think he's jokered yet in car number 19. But it's all a matter if he can get some of this gap back up. I think he'll joker on the last lap. As Living Good in the 21, battling with Kraus in the 42. And this is a perfect race for Revolution Racing to get momentum back, as the team from Denver, south side of Denver, Lakewood, southwest side off of Colorado 470, Canyon City right down I-25, a couple hours south, 2 laps to go for Wets, the man from Texas. It's beautiful scenery when you drive down I-25 and you get nestled in the woods, and that's where this track sits, and it has been sitting here since 2012, one of the staples of the NASA RallyCross Challenge. 2 rounds left in this season. Once we're done with this, round 9, we're supposed to go to Pikes Peak, but Pikes Peak and NASA RallyCross have had a very toxic relationship, because Pikes Peak says, yes, we're going to build this track, and they never do. So it's like a friend that says they're going to show up, and they never do. So NASA RallyCross has a second track planned. Haven't told us where, but we'll figure that out next week. And then we wrap up the season in Canada, in St. Eustache. Wets comes off the final corner to take the white flag here in quarterfinal 1, as he's pulled away from Erdman, 58.067. Erdman was fastest on the circuit throughout the session, but he was 6/10 slower, and he slides it into turn 1 again. We'll have to look at Kraus to see what the Canadian can do on this final lap. I'm not sure if he's jokered yet, but we'll have to see. There he goes. He's going to straight line. So yes, he will joker now in the 19. We might see Erdman from one of these camera shots. Yes, we will. Will Wets be? No, Wets will not. You might have seen him in the far shot there. Wets is not going to be challenged for this quarterfinal win. Final chicane for the man from Texas, and finally getting some momentum for Revolution Racing. Quarterfinal 1 will go to Wets in car number 71, as the championship leader Kraus struggles in the 19. Third is Erdman. Fourth will be Living Good, and fifth will be Jacob Kraus. And Phil will have to go to the semifinal for the first time in a while here in Canyon City. So his teammate is going to get some redemption here, because he will be racing with Noah Carmichael, Brandon Lambert, and I believe Dylan Smith in this race. And we know that the 81 has been down on points throughout most of this season due to just all kinds of issues. But it'll be interesting. Mertz Lambert, Dylan Smith, and privateer points leader Noah Carmichael. Another 6-lap race. And a winner will transfer. Who's going to join Wets in the final in Canyon City from the first round of races? Green flag. Off the line, no one gets a real good start. Mertz edges ahead. The first corner is very tricky. Mertz pinches Lambert into his teammate. Carmichael into the wall in the 18. So the three Hondas versus the Subaru. And the two-time winner this season, Mertz, pulls away from Dylan Smith, the winner in Munich, into the chicane for the first time, this brand new chicane. There's been some car issues on the 81. He wasn't able to get a lot of practice, and he's reverted as two cars, both of them around, Dylan Smith and Carmichael in separate incidents. And Mertz slides it in the 81. As I was just about to mention, the control scheme on that 81 car was changed in the middle of practice. They reverted to a different steering mechanism, and it's not helping him. And also, to make matters worse, for some odd reason, his visor was fogging in his helmet, so they had to change his helmet, and it's really changed, as crazy as this sounds, how everything looks in the car. As Lambert gets nudged by Mertz there, they had a little bit of contact in those first two corners, but these two battled for the first championship back in 2012A. As Dylan Smith and Carmichael jokers in the 18, so we should see him cycle through past Dylan Smith. I don't think he's going to get by. Mertz hits the wall. I don't think he's going to get by Lambert and Mertz. He won't get by, comes out behind Dylan Smith. So now we'll have to see if the Honda program can hold this advantage over the Subaru. And Subaru and MRT basically will lock up the championship with a good finish today. As locking it up into the first corner is the 81 as we take the third lap of the race. As Brandon Lambert, Solstice Racing, they both run it wide into the first corner. And Solstice Racing veteran Lambert, who has won a championship there, as the playoffs begin for Solstice a little bit later on High Voltage Media Productions. Be sure to join us there, and that should be a great race as those playoffs roll on. So him and his teammate Dylan Smith will pack everything up from here, and they will head over to Daytona Beach to run that race in their Toyotas. Dylan Smith has gotten close to the 81. I don't think Lambert is going to be challenged. Granted, there is 3 laps to go, but the Honda has so much more pace than the Subaru. It's very interesting that Mertz could not capitalize on his teammates' mistakes. And that's really been the moral of the story, really the storyline that has gone on all season, is the 81 has had a terrible season, as it takes a last-second jab to the Joker. The 81 has won 2 races, so he's equal on his teammate with races, but when he missed the final in Munich, when he finished bad in the... it wasn't really a bad finish. He finished 4th in Vegas and finished 4th in Vancouver, but his teammate was either 1st or 2nd in those races. And that is the huge points difference that's there, and that's why this championship, almost like 2019 Formula One with Lewis Hamilton and nobody else, has been consistent other than the British driver in NASA RallyCross. It's been all Philip Kraus this season. Mertz slides it in turn 1. It's going to hurt his chances of winning this quarterfinal again, as Lambert has not jokered in the 46. Dylan Smith runs it wide, nearly hits the tires in turn 1, and Noah Carmichael having his own battle in the 18. Lambert's going to wait till the final lap to joker, so this might actually seal it for the American. As Dylan Smith jokers on the 47, he's going to be challenging Mertz, I think, as Mertz has to take it to the chicane. No challenge for Dylan Smith, so the younger German takes over the lead tentatively in this quarterfinal. And I think that slide in turn 1 hurt the 81 car, because he had that delta over the 47. As we take the white flag in Canyon City for the second quarterfinal, Dylan Smith leads over Josh Mertz, Brandon Lambert, and Noah Carmichael. And the 81. At this point, I think he's overdriving, trying to overcompensate 47 of Smith has obviously jokered. Mertz has jokered. Where is Lambert in this equation? From high above, we're going to take a look and see. Takes to the jump. No challenge for Mertz in the 81, but where is his teammate? This is the real equation here. Where is Smith? No challenge for Smith either. And Lambert's going to get an easy win in the quarterfinal. Unless his teammate does a dive bomb in this final corner, but that's a huge gap to make up. Final corner. And two teams that have not had a good season this season are going to redeem themselves. Wetz in the first quarterfinal, Lambert in quarterfinal 2. It's a 1-2 in the quarterfinal for LMT. Lambert, Smith, Mertz, and Carmichael. As the semifinals are going to be very interesting in just a few moments. I don't think the teammates are going to be battling together in this semifinal. I think they're still going to be separated. But the fact of the matter that they're both in the semifinal helps Kraus, hurts Mertz. Because he has to try and get every single point that he can, and when he can't, it's clearly going to hinder him. As Kraus, Erdman, and Livengood. Philip Kraus, Jacob Kraus, Cody Erdman, Dylan Livengood. 4 laps. Joker once in Canyon City. Can Erdman get a good run on his former teammate? We'll have to see. Green flag. Down to turn 1, 3 wide. Kraus is in the middle. Into the first corner, gets tagged by Livengood, and I don't think that'll be a penalty because it looks like he just came over right into the 51, or the 21, sorry. Erdman will lead out of the first chicane. Down to the new bus stop. Kraus on the inside. Can he send it? No, he'll think better of it. Good move for the 19. Very tricky corner. As we go into the far end of the circuit, Cody Erdman leads over Philip Kraus, over Dylan Livengood, and Jacob Kraus. And the Citroen program. Some good R&D. I mean, these guys, Kraus did win their last championship back in 2017B, and Erdman making some progress with that program as we begin the second lap. He is ahead of his former teammate. As another reason why Erdman left, Erdman said, well, you know, they've basically already won the championships. Which is a valid point. But it doesn't help him in the fact that he will not get his name on the team's trophy. Kraus jokers in the 19. So did Jacob Kraus in the 42, but we know the 42 is a little bit off pace in that car. And Philip Kraus really is battling his former teammate in this semifinal. We're going to come to cross flags already. Hits the berm. You can run it very close to that tire barrier. There's no track limits there because of the blind apex, blind crest. Cross flags for Philip Kraus. The Citroen program doing well for Erdman. And it looks like Livengood has not jokered in the 21, so that's why he has been passed by the 42. Let's look at Erdman here in the 52. Will he joker? Yes, he will. Where is Philip Kraus? Over the jump goes Erdman. Nowhere to be found yet. Down the straightaway. Will Kraus hold the lead? It's going to be a merge point. No, Kraus will not hold the lead. They come out together. Erdman runs it wide, tries to pinch out Kraus. We're coming to the white flag here in Canyon City, and this is a good race between these two. Kraus to the inside. He's going to try and take the spot over his former teammate, side by side through the chicane. Kraus can't get it done off of the final corner. Side by side as we take the white flag here in Canyon City. And I think Kraus might be able to seal it unless Erdman can do an over-under. Still side by side are the former teammates. And Negus has produced some intense racing before, very respectful. Erdman defending. Kraus doesn't want to give the bumper to his former teammate. As we go down to the new chicane, I think this is going to be Kraus's best chance, one of his best chances. If Erdman runs a tighter line, Kraus going to sneak to the inside. Erdman opened it up, and he got a terrible run off the corner, and Kraus is going to get the lead. Can Erdman over under? No, Kraus closes the apex. Erdman hits the berm, and I think that's all she wrote. As Kraus leads Erdman, Living Good, and Jacob Kraus. He's going to win the semifinal. One more bonus point and closer to another championship. Philip Kraus wins semifinal A. Erdman second, Living Good third, and Jacob Kraus in fourth. As the second semifinal is Mertz, Carmichael, and Dylan Smith. So this should be a good one as well. We know the 81 has had some issues with his car. As he will face the 47 of Smith and the 18 of Carmichael. As one provisional here tonight, Casey Lester, some car issues on the 13 has prevented him from running, but he will get a provisional for this week and next week, and hopefully return for the season finale in St. Eustache in Canada. As we line them up, getting ready for the second semi-final here in Canyon City. As race control making sure that all the launch controls are set. Getting ready to go. Green flag. Dylan Smith off the line. Better jump than Mertz. The private Honda down to turn one. Does not get pinched this time, but he gets shoved out wide by the 81. Smith hits the wall, and everyone bumps into everyone, ping-ponging in the first chicane. Down to the second chicane. Smith leads Mertz, leads Carmichael. As they both run it wide. It's very tricky, very easy to follow the guy that you're following if he runs it wide. Obviously, that's a normal thing in racing, but just in general at this track, a lot of people have been doing it because it's a new layout, and you're so laser focused on trying to get the layout right. When the guy in front of you gets it wrong, you're just following him, and Mertz gets tagged again by Carmichael. And I think he's parked it. 81 is out of the semifinal. His teammate loves this. He doesn't. He's got to go to the LCQ once again in 2019B. As Smith will joker in the 47. Carmichael in the 18. I think they're trying to call him for a penalty, but Mertz has already pulled it off the track. He got out of the car, walked over to race control. Told Dylan Livingood, no penalty, don't worry about it. So, 81 not having a good day. Dylan Smith certainly having a good day, trying to get Honda to sweep a quarterfinal and a semifinal here in Canyon City. Cross flags for the German. And it's an easy run as Carmichael in the private Honda has been leading that championship ever since Victor Valley's demise once again. But Dylan Smith ahead of the 18 of Carmichael. 49.892 was his fastest lap last lap. And Carmichael ran a 1 minute .059. So he jokered in the 18. Nowhere close to the 47 though. As the pace differential between the factory Honda and the privateer Honda is certainly showing. Dylan Smith into the final chicane. We're going to take the white flag lap here in Canyon City. And we'll see what the 47 can do. Granted, there's no points for a fastest lap, but you certainly like to see a flying lap, a proper flying lap. And a very simple, straightforward race after the action-packed first semifinal. As Dylan Smith His Joker was a 49.892 his last lap. And Carmichael was a 50.217, so 0.4 of a second difference between the two programs. And the winner from Munich overall, and the 3-time privateer winner. It's going to be a tall order for Carmichael to overcome this revitalized Citroen program for Erdmann. Remember, Erdmann is not in a constructor car again if you're just joining our coverage on the Automotive Sports Network. Cody Erdmann has left MRT to rejoin his own team, Area 52, running a Citroen, and he's running for the Privateer Cup for these last couple races. That doesn't matter because Dylan Smith has won the second semifinal in Canyon City ahead of Noah Carmichael and Josh Mertz, as the German will have to go to the LCQ again in 2019B. We remember in 2014B he got sent to the LCQ. He ended up winning the championship after being sent to the LCQ for a few times, but he didn't have a huge points margin to make up over his teammate. LCQ time in Canyon City. Mertz, Kraus, Erdmann, Carmichael, and I believe Living Good as well. So one of the privateers will go home. Kraus, Erdmann, Carmichael, Mertz, Living Good, green flag for the LCQ. Jacob Kraus gets a good run into the first corner. Mertz gives him room. He gets tagged as two of them are around. Erdmann and Carmichael for a moment. Erdmann slid it. Carmichael gets turned, and over goes Living Good. I think that's a red flag. That is a red flag here in Canyon City. And everyone just trying to get a good start, good run. And we know that 4 into 2, 3 into 1, it's not going to work. So we round the field, round the track again. Gives them another shot to restart this race as we go down the pit lane. They can get attention from their mechanics if they need to. I don't think anyone really will. Looks like Living Good got a little bit confused here. He might enter in the cutoff. Yes, he will. He'll enter in the cutoff at the end of pit lane. And it's just it's a very tight start. It used to be very wide and funneled down, but now it's kind of the opposite because it's narrow and opens up. And then because you have to shrink 4 cars down to about 2, and then you could open it back up. And that's where it gets hard because you can't jump on the first lap of the race because that's the Joker. So you have to fit 4 cars into a space that really could only fit 2. As Carmichael caused the red flag, he's going to have to back up and be on the back row of the grid with Living Good, as that is the penalty for causing a red flag. Mertz, Kraus, Erdmann, Living Good, and Carmichael. Let's try it again, restarting the LCQ here in Canyon City. Carmichael's penalty really doesn't matter. He gets close to the front anyway. Into the first corner. Kraus gets turned by Living Good again. And the 51 is into the tire barrier. And it looks like Revolution Racing will not have 2 cars in the final. And Living Good's dismal 2019B will continue as Carmichael trying to hang on to the back of Erdmann. Remember, these two are battling for the privateer win today in Canyon City. I think Mertz just came over the radio as they NASA RallyCross, as in 2018C, I believe it was. 2017C, I apologize, because we're getting confused with our seasons. They forbid us from having the radio communication. And they have done it again. So now silence on the radio. Erdman Jokers in the 52. So he'll take the lead over his former teammate. It's really going to be down to the 81, and if he can hold the delta over the 52. He came over the radio and told Cody, we're not teammates, but please, let's just cruise. Because we know that the 81 has had a dismal weekend. And I think the championship is just slipping out of his grasp. And he's acknowledging this because of how difficult this car has been to handle. White flag for Erdman in the LCQ for Area 52. So the man from Wisconsin runs under the German license. Multiple time winner. I believe he's 4th all time without the notes in front of me in the NASA RallyCross Challenge. Has not had the greatest of seasons. He won in Las Vegas, been on the podium, but he's still miles behind his teammate, or his former teammate, I should say, in the championship. His other former teammate took to the Joker and slides right in front of him to take the lead in the LCQ, and Carmichael's hopes of winning this privateer race are slipping from his grasp. Final corner. Erdman and Mertz. Erdman, huge power move to get by his former teammate. Redemption from a couple seasons ago when they were racing for the final. Erdman Mertz transfer. Carmichael 7th, 8th Kraus, and 9th is Livingood. In the Privateer Cup, Erdman wins, Carmichael 2nd, 3rd Kraus, 4th Casey Lester's. Casey Lester finishes 10th with the provisional. As we get close to the final here in Canyon City. And that race between the former teammates, every time I want to say teammates, but they're not. The former teammates, it gets better and better. Remember 2016A, that was a great race in the Automotive Sports Network. We called that one, and that was a great finish as well. As we get ready for round 8 of the 2019B NASA RallyCross Challenge season, we erroneously said that last week was round 8, as we weren't feeling the greatest. We were getting over a little bit of a cold, man flu, if you'd call it that. Whatever you'd want to call it, wasn't the greatest. But we're back as we're getting ready for the 8th round of the championship. Erdman, Wetz, Lambert, Dylan Smith, Kraus, and Mertz. So 2 LMT, 2 MRT, 1 Revolution Racing, 1 Area 52, green flag in Canyon City. Off the line, Erdman gets a good run over Wetz into the first corner. Erdman, Wetz, Lambert, Smith, and MRT's 5th and 6th with Mertz and Kraus. Not a good start for the championship leaders. As Lambert gets passed by Kraus. Can Mertz try the same? Into the chicane. No, he won't. So the second place man in points is back in 6th and not having a good day. Erdman leads. Kraus is up to 4th. And he's not finished off the podium yet this season, but look at how much distance he has over his teammate already. And the revitalized Citroen program off of the final corner will lead the first lap in Canyon City. Wet second, 3rd Kraus. The Hondas are side by side for 4th. Dylan Smith on the inside. Mertz sneaks to the inside of Lambert. Can he get it done? Side by side, the inaugural champion versus the 6-time champion. No, and the Hondas will joker along with, I believe, Wetz. Wetz does. Breaking his strategy. We know, and we say this every single show, how Wetz jokers on the last 2 laps of the race, making us to be liars in the 71. Dylan Smith, Lambert, Erdman, and the MRT Subarus 5th and 6th. Very odd to see. Wetz through the final chicane. Dylan Smith getting very close. The former teammates for Revolution Racing. As Wetz takes the 3rd lap of the race. Running it wide into the first corner, trying to get it down on the apex. Dylan Smith got some gap back on the 71. Will Wetz complete his strategy? No, but Dylan Smith will. Dylan Smith completes his strategy. I don't think these guys are going to joker yet either. If we look at lap time, though, 57.9, 58.7. Mertz is very off pace in the 81. Another off weekend for him. As the confidence in the 81 camp, not really sure where it went. So Dylan Smith is done with his strategy as we begin the fourth lap of the race to take the beginning of cross flags. Smith leads. Wetz in second. Third is Lambert. Fourth, Erdman. Fifth, Kraus. Sixth is Mertz. We'll have to see who's going to joker. Smith has a huge delta because he completed his strategy already. Wetz, I don't think is going to joker. Lambert will not joker, as these guys are just going to take all the time they can. None of these guys are going to joker, I think. Kraus will, so let's see what the Subaru does with his first bit of strategy done. With Wetz and Lambert done with one joker, this is going to put Kraus in the mix to battle these guys. If they had to take the chicane, Lambert hit the wall, and Kraus is in second. Because we know if the 19 gets clear track, he's unstoppable. And that's exactly what happened. Dylan Smith takes crossed flags in Canyon City. 4 laps to go for the German. If he can get his second win this season. But it's going to be a tall order as Philip Kraus is on fire. He got passed. Wetz got passed by Kraus. Lambert got passed by Kraus. And Erdman and Mertz, let's see his last lap, 58.537. So the 81. Faster than Erdman, but still slower than his teammate. Erdman jokers in the 52. He takes his first bit of strategy, gets by Lambert. And where will he come out? Where is Dylan Smith? He's going to get by Wetz. He's going to come out battling his former teammate. So now everyone's first bit of strategy is done. Remember, Dylan Smith's out and away from the rest of the field. He has completed his strategy. So now all he can hope for is these two are going to be battling together and battling to the death. 3 laps to go. The only driver that has not jokered at least once is this guy. I think he's trying to do what he did in 2013 C, as he jokered on the last 2 laps of the race, surprised everyone, and won the race. To be perfectly honest, though, I don't think he's going to be able to win the race today. We'll be seeing crazier things happen. Erdman slid very far in the first corner there against the 19 of Kraus. Wetz in the 71. Lambert, no one jokers on the 6th lap. So the status quo is maintained. As Smith holds the lead. That delta is shrinking. Kraus, if we're flipping back between the cars to get the lap times, 58.360 to a 57.403, 9/10 of a second faster. Philip Kraus over Dylan Smith. 2 to go for Dylan Smith. Being completely honest, it's a tall order to defend against the championship leader. He is on fire, but we've seen crazier things happen. But I hate to derail this conversation again. Kraus was 1.2 seconds faster than Dylan Smith. I think everyone's going to joker if they have one left on the final lap of the race. That's exactly what everyone else is going to do. Lambert says, I'm not going to follow everyone's strategy. He's going to get by the 71 of Wetz. And where's Mertz? 58.286 was his fastest lap of the race. But I don't think he's anywhere close on pace to the leaders. He's going to come out behind Wetz after his first joker. Not a good day for the 81. Final lap for Dylan Smith in the 47. Can he close it out? Can he get his second win this season? Or will Philip Kraus again, 56.952 versus a 58.601? Interestingly, Kraus is not the fastest man on the circuit. We're going to see Kraus take the joker on the final lap, no contest, And when you see a driver in their element like Philip Kraus has been this season, even for last season, 2019 A, even though we didn't finish it on iRacing, in 2018 C, when a driver comes into their element, something clicks, and something has clicked. Erdman second, third Smith, fourth. Mertz got by Lambert, but that doesn't matter. His teammate has romped away with another victory in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Kraus wins and solidifies this championship as Erdman second, Smith third, Wetz fourth, as Lambert gets fifth, as Mertz has spun it in the final corner. As the former teammates giving each other a little nudge, as Kraus once again takes the victory. His third win in 2019B. And he gets closer and closer to taking the championship. As Cody Erdman wins the Privateer Cup here in Canyon City, his second win of 2019B. It's going to be interesting because he will have 2 winner stickers on his car. His overall win from Las Vegas and his Privateer win from today. As we get closer and closer to rounding out the season here in NASA Rallycross, we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the Canyon City Rallycross Grand Prix. Like I said, next week we might be in Pikes Peak. We might have no idea where we're at. So we'll see you next week, wherever we might be, as it's certainly going to be a good race as we get closer to wrap up the championships. From all of us, easy for me to say, from all of us here on the Automotive Sports Network, we hope you enjoyed today's coverage, and we will see you next week. But until then, so long, everyone.